After India bought Russia's best fighter jets this week, the US has screwed over India, and they've sold weapons to India's enemy, Pakistan. Specifically, the US has sold over $600 million worth of upgrades for Pakistan's F-16 fighter jets, simply because they're annoyed India is working with Russia. But this comes at the time when Pakistan is literally on the verge of war with India, so the US is sending a very clear message here. But you need to know that there are two things that we can take from the US doing this, and arguably the second one is actually more important. The first point though, this shows that the US is definitely annoyed that India is starting to move closer to Russia, when they were meant to be doing the opposite. And so, this move by the US would suggest that the US wants to get back at India by selling weapons to Pakistan. But the second point is that this is actually quite an interesting and arguably smart move by the US, and here's why. Well, for a long time, the US has been wanting to sell huge amounts of weapons to India, and that was about to happen until India bought weapons from Russia this week. And this would suggest that India is no longer interested in buying the American weapons, now that they've bought better Russian weapons. But with Pakistan now getting more weapons, whether they're American or not, India is going to need to buy more weapons to compete with Pakistan. And the US wants to be the ones that India needs to buy weapons from, now that Pakistan has more weapons. This is basically just a big game of I will fund your enemy until you start working with me. I will say that short term this might work, although I do believe that in the long term this will actually damage the US and India relations, because India will not like that the US is working with Pakistan. However, news like this is something that you just wouldn't know about if you didn't follow me for some global news like this.